Hi everyone, Wowthany Y Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well, and we have to talk about one of mainstream music's biggest stars just burning out for no reason whatsoever, seemingly. Of course, I'm talking about the one, the only lyricist extraordinaire, hip-hop game changer, Nicki Minaj, who we have covered here and there recently on this channel, though the times in which I find myself talking about Nicki Minaj, unfortunately, it's not usually for something good. In fact, the last time I think she was kicking up this much attention was in the midst of her beef with Megan Thee Stallion, where for the most part, Nicki was her own worst enemy in that beef, dropping an absolutely piss poor reply to Megan that frankly was beneath someone of her lyrical ability and history. And now it would seem out of nowhere Nicki is beefing once again. Nicki has been on a bit of a multi-day, multi-week tear on social media as of late. And it's kind of gotten to the point where even some of her fans and her followers are getting like a little sick and tired of seeing it, like this person over here, to which Nicki throws out an unhinged reply, which the actions she's describing here are pretty damning allegations. But like finding exact context for what she's talking about here and what the root of the many gripes she is voicing on social media as of late, it's difficult because the breadcrumbs are just scattered, and no matter how many times I see her tweet and no matter how many times I see Barb's like just basically buying into everything that she's saying with no question whatsoever, it doesn't help me understand anything she's saying better. It also doesn't help that her feed is also clogged with like, celebrating old songs she's done, doing well, and then going after an entertainment journalist and retweeting somebody who says that she should hit this journalist with a defamation suit. But the drama behind many of the headlines generated around Nicki's Twitter account for the past 24 hours seems to start here, where she's talking about a man from TDE, Top Dog Entertainment. What was his name again? I'm going to give him a nickname. I'm going to call him minus 30 million from now on. And then in less than an hour, she actually ends up tweeting a photo of Punch from TDE saying, "Me after I suck some good Zick, guarantee you wouldn't fight a man," maybe referring to his name. "We have every tweet of your incessant bullying, lying, and more. Your name was added to that list, shitty drawers. Same thing that makes you laugh will make you shit." She doesn't really seem to be posting whatever those receipts are in the replies, and the replies that are here are kind of filled with people who don't really know what the heck she's talking about. I don't know. I follow music news and musicians on social media pretty closely as a job. If somebody of Punch's visibility and influence was just publicly hopping on Twitter to bully Nicki Minaj in front of the entire world, which if he did, he'd have to be stupid. But if he in fact did that, you would kind of think that like, people would catch wind of that. That wouldn't be something that, would just fly under the radar because, a music label exec bullying one of the biggest rappers on the planet on Twitter. That's not something that tends to just get swept under the rug. She goes on to tweet, "Tiny dick executive." Then she goes on to say, "So glad I have proof of being bullied and being lied on by a man publicly on a platform I use for my job. After I rejected his business proposition on more than one occasion, he failed to disclose to the public that I had rejected his business propositions," which, like, if that is in fact the case, why would you disclose that? I mean, as somebody who also is on social media as a job and is an influencer and a content creator, I am approached with, and sometimes I approach other people with business propositions all the time. And a lot of them don't work out or don't go anywhere. And it's not like every single time one of them doesn't pan out, I go onto social media to alert the world. That's not a normal behavior. And then she says, and thereby acted in what appears to be retaliation purposefully used to cause financial damages and to engage in a smear campaign against the brand. Now, like I said, there were a lot of people who are kind of confused and wondering why exactly Nicki would blow up at Punch like this out of the blue. And there are at least some fans theorizing right now that this may be sort of like a miscommunication, a misunderstanding over this tweet right here, which was dropped on July 15th yesterday, where Punch says broken Barbies, which maybe if you're Nicki Minaj or a hardcore Nicki fan who, really identifies with the Barb's brand, you may take that potentially as a shot. But this tweet is actually the title of a new song from a new artist that just got signed to TDE. The song itself, Broken Barbies, does not seem to be in reference to Nicki Minaj in any way. In fact, the reference points to Barbies on the track mostly have to do with this artist's adolescence and not having, Ken dolls growing up, so they would have their Barbies have sexual relations or relationships with each other instead. And obviously going deeper into that, there's themes in the track of, youth and growing up and so on and so forth. It's kind of a dark and moody cut too. There doesn't seem to be anything in it that is meant to attack Nicki Minaj. And if there is, it's so subtle and so quiet and so faint, so almost non-existent that it's barely even there. Now, Punch doesn't seem to have engaged in this beef too directly because, even if there is validity to what Nicki is saying, once more, he would have to be insane. The Barbs most likely would tear him limb from limb. So of course, that lack of heat coming back Nicki's way, the inability to stoke the flames and make things worse and more intense, that opportunity just wasn't there. So Nicki had to find other ways to up the ante. And now, as a result, she decided to just go at SZA out of nowhere. I guess because SZA was tweeting some woo-woo Mercury retrograde shit, which, kind of tracks for her. That kind of seems like her vibe. But yeah, didn't mention Nicki. Didn't point directly at Nicki in this instance. Could have been tweeting idly. We don't know. But still, Nicki decided to quote tweet this and say, "Go draw your freckles back on Buki. Liar, liar, pants on fire, sounding like a fucking dead dog. Holy Christ." It's not like Nicki has ever done anything to her looks or her body to, make it look a certain way or appeal a certain way to fans. So why is she being critical of artists for doing things to their bodies or the way that they look to do whatever they decide to do? Who cares? It's your business. It just seems like the call is coming from inside the house. Bitch looking and sounding like she got stung by a fucking bee ... draws on my fake freckles. Body shaming SZA as well, which okay, nice. And then here she is tweeting like she's taking a victory lap as if she's just beaten Punch and SZA into the ground and speak on me or about me at your own risk. But again, so many people are coming away from this being like, what did SZA say to you? What is this coming from? Here she is tweeting about what she sees as SZA's lack of success. Oh, and this is maybe the funniest part. Bitch put out a whole new album as a deluxe to an already existing album that was out for a year or two, so the original album could break records. What in the insecure lack of morals and integrity are you doing? I thought she was a real artist, girl, bye. Nicki has Pink Friday, and then she has the Pink Friday Reloaded album. Recently, she did Pink Friday 2. Why are you attacking other artists for things that you do? Okay, now she's seemingly exposing old, unflattering SZA tweets, but I'm not even sure if this is verified. Could be, could not be. I don't know. Nicki even thought it important to retweet some research that went into seeing whether or not Mercury is in fact in a retrograde period, as if it's not just a saying and it doesn't really matter. She just keeps tweeting about her. She cannot stop tweeting about her. This is insane. And while there are many situations in which I may have given Nicki the benefit of the doubt in terms of maybe her having some past experiences or inside information about certain people in the industry messing with her or not liking her, be they or be they not from the TDE camp. But keep in mind, this is the same person who dropped that awful diss track toward Megan Thee Stallion, which was also backloaded with tons of threats. Nicki saying she's going to expose Megan and she's got the receipts and she's going to share them with the world and this, that, and the third and da-da-da-da-da. And none of that came to be. So I mean, excuse me if at this point, when Nicki says, oh, I have receipts that all these people hate me and have been hating me all this time, yeah, now I'm skeptical, because historically you say you have the receipts for certain things and then you don't show them. You just claim you have them and then hope that your most rabid fans are going to latch on to your claims and just accept them as truth because you said them. And this just is such a prime example of how terrible social media can be, not just for the mental health of your average person, but an artist who manages to build a fan base that operates nearly like a cult and will basically validate and accept almost anything that you tell them, which if you're a certain type of person, that could give you pretty quickly a bit of a God complex where you feel like you can say and do just about anything with little to no repercussions because, hey, no matter what happens, those hardcores that love and accept everything that you say, they're going to be there. And while in the past it has been, cool that the Barbs have been there to back up Nicki and support her through some legitimately rough patches and tough times in her career, now she's just going out there and picking petty fights with industry people and huge fellow artists who most likely would have a lot of goodwill toward her in any other scenario. But yeah, this is weird. This is odd, and this is super unflattering. And for Nicki's sake, I'm just praying that this does not go anywhere into the booth. Let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comments. I'm sure you will. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano forever.